As pandemic restrictions continue to be lifted around the country,
more and more people are returning to the office.
Though the office might look the same, things certainly feel a little bit different.
Yes, joining us today is the Associate Professor of
Organization Theory and Management at Pepperdine Business School, Dr. Dana Sumpter. Good morning.
What are the challenges as we return?
One of the big challenges that is emerging is scheduling. That returning to the office means creating new routines of who does what around the house, who's going to do the kids' pickups and drop-offs, and so job changes can impact the whole household. There's also the challenge of uncertainty, that there's continued uncertainty around childcare and schooling. I know I'm not the only one who's had a kid who had to stay home unexpectedly because of just a simple little runny nose, and so this can completely disrupt work plans. And this is also one of the reasons why COVID has continued to have an outsized impact on women.
Let's talk tips, though. I mean, how can you make this disruption as minimized as possible?
Yeah, one suggestion is to really be clear about availability. But now that we're returning to the office, it's important to be proactive around what you want your work hours to be and let others know when you need to be off the clock so that we can have those boundaries to help protect our well-being and prevent burnout. I think also it's important to try to reclaim the joy of being back in person. This is your opportunity to reconnect with people. As you described your return back, I myself experienced that too when I stepped into the classroom with students for the first time in a couple years recently. Feeling that energy of being in the classroom with students again, it was great. I almost forgot how great it was. So I think remembering that there are benefits to going back, not only for well-being, but also for our career. Relationship building, better access to top clients and projects, getting that recognition, innovating with others in ways that you can't do over Zoom. So I say schedule that lunch out. You know, you're not only investing in your well-being, but also in your career networking opportunities.
But what can companies do to help their employees ease back, into work and make things less stressful?
Absolutely.
I think it's important for managers and leaders, first of all, to really keep their finger on the pulse of how reentry is going. This is a time to listen and really pay attention to how folks are doing. Everyone's experience is likely going to be very different. Remember to consider employees' holistic needs. Make sure they've got the policies to help support them. Managers and leaders need to pay attention to more than just what's going on at work. The days are gone where we're just focusing on what happens at work. Because we all have had a great reckoning with what's really important to us. And finally, I think kind of on a positive note again, right? Talk up the positives of coming back. None of us like to be forced to do anything, right? I know I sure don't. Attract people back to the office. Talk up how valuable it'll be to collaborate with colleagues and then set up structured ways to help make those interactions happen. This will help folks feel more at ease and better about some of the trade-offs that they have to make, like having to commute or having to dress from head to toe again. This will help folks feel more at ease with some of the trade-offs they need to back and returning to the office.
I myself worked remotely way in the beginning, and at first I was like, I have to drive again, it's the traffic and this and that.
Around here, when we returned to the studio after working from home for such a long time, there was definitely a renewed energy of being back in the building and back together as a team.
Once I got out of the house and having adult conversations, dressing up, having a purpose, kind of having a little me time on the drive in and to work and from work, those were the things. Once I focused on that, I was happy.
Are there any resources that employees can seek out to help navigate this return to the office?
I think, with any change, pay attention to mental health. So resources like NAMI.org, NAMI.org, or contact your healthcare provider. And second, I'm obviously very biased, but considering a higher degree as a way to jumpstart or revitalize a career. So for my organization, bschool.pepperdine.edu, that's where you can find information about our centers and our faculty profiles that share the cutting edge research that I and others, my colleagues, are doing in managing the return to work and on the future of work, what it will continue to look like.